the hope is that they've seen something in you that they've seen from no one else, that no one else has ever delivered to them. And that alone helps them depend on you to be their next real estate agent, whether it's buying or selling. That's it.
And the end. No. You know what? It's so funny. I was just sitting here listening to you, and I'm like, I've done that before.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Fall in love with people, and then you're afraid to tell them what they need to hear. Yeah. That's a tough one. Has anybody else done that? I'm sure we have. Yeah. I see Dale waving his hand. Me. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Jeff? You can just type them in the chat, or you can just literally hit your space bar to come off mute and ask any questions that you have. Jeff, tell us a little bit about how the market's doing up there in Berks County.
Oh, okay, sure. We are, one of the interesting things that this month, I did my analysis for half the year. And guys, this isn't just in Berks County, but this is regionally speaking. We have, for the first time in over 2 years, plateaued in real estate, in median real estate value. Now, do you guys understand do you know what median real estate value is?
Mm-hmm.
I
think they know what that is.
Okay, all right. That means for the last 2 years, every time I've done an analysis of a year-over-year consideration, the median has gone up between 2 and 13.5%, which is absolutely amazing. And the last months after COVID, we're talking like April, May, and June, right in there. While sales were down up to 60%, and now they exist at 30% down, the sales volume, the sales amount numbers were up to 13.6% to the positive, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, unbelievable. The inventory just in Berks County alone was under 400 real houses. Now, what are real houses? Real houses are not unbuilt houses that are listed for sale by builders. And just as an example, in Berks County alone, there are 120 paper houses unbuilt. So
wow.
We often will take Reading out of the picture because that's a different market and different sale. When we remove that, we end up with about 378 for sale available houses in the Berks County area at this time, which is between that and interest rates, is that key value driver, even though the listings and inventory and sales are down. So here's what to watch. If you're watching your marketplace month over month, if we fall into a pattern of 90 days of flat, that means we've totally plateaued. That means be careful, because many times on the other side of that plateau is a depreciation. And we are going into a September, October, November, December market where we have no idea what the climate's going to be. We don't know if we're going to be open or closed. We're going to have the COVID experience again. So if you're dealing with clients out there, it's in their favor for you to let them know what that long range is. I mean, many times when we're meeting with clients, what are they asking us to do? They're asking us to do one main thing, is brush our crystal ball off and tell them what the future holds.
Yeah.
And that means, how much is our house worth? Who's going to buy it and when? And again, we only know that from the information that we can ascertain from the past. So in doing so, look year over year on how things are moving and manage it accordingly. So right now, I can tell you in this whole region, South Central Pennsylvania, for the first month, June was the first month we plateaued in over 24 months.
Wow.
Yeah. Does that help?
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Guys, this is one thing, the reason I want Jeff to do all that is this is what takes you to that next level in the business, is knowing your numbers like this. You need to be an expert on what's going on, especially right now, because people are, even though it's like this frenzy out there, people are scared. They don't understand what market values are, and they're really relying on you to help them and guide them through these things. So you've got to start really taking the time to go on to Bright and see what's going on with the market. Check out the statistics. Since you can't go out and really look at houses just to go look at them, we shouldn't be previewing houses right now, but you can go online and you can look at almost everything you need to see and start getting a really good feel for what's out there in the marketplace. It's going to take a little bit of extra right now. to really gain that market share that you all need, because we need listings obviously right now because there's buyers galore. But you've got to win those listing appointments. So you need to have the most information. You need to be the most professional out there as well.
I'll throw something at you here. One of the things, people will always ask you, what's the market like? And we do that to each other. Our clients do it to us. Sometimes, people at a party will say this, and, sometimes it's just a form of conversation, but many times they really want to know, how are things? And really in our whole region, and I don't just mean Berks County, I don't mean Montgomery, Chester, I'm talking about Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and other places. We have a seasonal market. We're one of those places in the country that really works off of seasons, meaning we have ebbs and flows more than a lot of other places. Like in Arizona, they talk about the spring market. They go, what spring market? What are you talking about? So in our area, we have these ebbs and flows. So it's good to take apart your marketplace. And how do you do that? I use median a lot. We have what's called median 1, median 2, and median 3 markets. Median 1's easy. That's whatever the median value is. And let's say in Montgomery County, it's 260,000 or 270, whatever it is right now. Median 2 market is double that, basically. So really, median 2 in your area is about 500,000, right around there, 5 to 550. Median 3 is 750 and above. Mm-hmm. So those are, if you look at those marketplaces, you'll see them on your graph. That's where you see the chart grid down just a little bit. You'll see the highs of median 1. You'll see a lower analysis of median 2, a plateau, and you'll see median 3. I'll give you an example in Berks County. Median 1, $185,000. Market values year over year have gone up 12%. Median 2 values are up 8%, and median 3 are up 2%. Huh. So when people say, what's the market like? Woo! I mean, that leads me to ask a lot of questions to decipher or determine what they want to know. But at least I can get off the ground and say something like, oh, the real estate market, do you mean median 1, 2, or 3? Immediately, that question creates more insightful questioning. And many times I believe a better answer to a question is a great question to an answer. Mm-hmm. So that then starts the conversation, gets you a little bit involved. Once you become involved and are able to spew numbers all over the place, you're going to leave that conversation. That person that you left with is going to believe that the person they just talked to knows what the hell they're doing. That's where they leave you. And no matter what they think about you, is wow, I never heard that before. And they walk away with a much better attitude about Absolutely. What just happened. So you take those opportunities, not handing out a card, asking if they want a drink or any of that kind of stuff. It's about giving them just enough of a nugget to get them feeling you're competent and more interested in maybe a future with you as their real estate agent. So again, just something I'll share on that front. There's something. One of the things that I've noticed a lot in this market, and I'm sure that's my wife, by the way.
I just saw her walking in the background.
You'll all meet Tina sooner or later if you haven't already. But there's a lot going on, and this may be an interesting subject. But how many of you out there, when you get multiple offers, are you doing highest and best? How many of you call for highest and best? Do that? Okay. Now, on discovery, on some very interesting, insightful discovery from coast to coast, talking with different realtors and brokers and boards, a lot of these places are starting to go away from highest and best strategies. And there's a couple different strategies out there, and one of them is last offer standing. Have you ever heard of that?
Huh. No.
And I got to tell you, it's something I have been utilizing now for the past several months. And I've been interviewing the agents that have been engaging with me in submitting offers and doing that, explaining them what it means. And so far, this is no joke, every single one of those agents, even the ones that have lost, their clients have not gotten the property, have said to me, I want to thank you. I love how that went. That is much better than the other thing we do. And that other thing we do means highest and best.
Mm-hmm.
What we're not doing is we're depending on the public and your client to know what highest and best means. I mean, try that. Say that to them 3 times. Say, you know what highest and best is, and see how many people go, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. They're learning something new. So think of this a second. You're with a buyer at a house. It's $300,000, $400,000. And you look them square in the face and go, do you like it? Well, I'm glad you like it because there's 3 offers on it. You have till 5 o'clock tomorrow to make a decision to open your wallet as wide as you can and make the best offer you can, or you're out. That's a hell of a way to talk to your new friend and your client. Well, you have to do that because that's the real market, right? Well, that's not the position you want to put a client in as a listing agent. I don't want my buyer agents running around insulting their clients. I really need them both. So therefore, I tell the agents, when you bring me an offer, I'm not going to call you and say your client didn't get the house. I'm going to call you and say your offer is not the highest and best. Would you like to modify it until there's 1 offer left? And when that happens, it's very interesting, but the agents will call me and say, I've talked to my client. It's as high as they can or want to go. We appreciated the opportunity. So they're the ones then who made the decision over time not to move any more forward. The client that is left with the highest and best offer, the ones who get the house, that's great. And the sellers feel that they've given everyone the ultimate opportunity to manage and make that situation work. So I just want to throw that out there to you guys, that last offer standing, it's not auctioning. But one thing I did find out with NAR, with the Code of Ethics, they talk about you can't tell what the sale price is. You can't tell terms and conditions. I got to tell you, that's not true. It is all up to the seller. If the seller says, I want every offer to know what the offers are, that's what goes. So we've been many times led to believe that we're not allowed to say these things. The truth is, it's up to the seller. And in other places, they'll tell you what the offer is and say, beat it. Now, they do frown on auctioning. They do frown on auctioning. But I got to tell you, there's a thin line between what I'm telling you and auctioning and how it's handled. But nonetheless, it is called last offer standing. And most times we don't say what the offer is. We don't say what the terms and conditions. We just let the other agents know your offer is not the highest and best. And we allow them to beg out and say, we're done. And they say, you end up with the best offer. And you don't have buyers coming back and going, well, I didn't know what highest and best meant. And, today I feel like I wanted to make a stronger offer, but we did that last night after we slept on it. We really want that house. Well, it's too late. You lost the house. It's too bad. So this strategy lets people have that time to manage their clients in the buyer field and get back to you and manage it. Again, I want you all to know that it's been working phenomenally, and the sellers like it. So far, the buyers agents are telling me all that it is a new experience to them and they like it better than, hey, sorry you didn't get the house. We wish you best of luck on the next one.
Yeah, good strategy. Good strategy. Shannon put in the remarks that she's doing that and she likes the strategy as well. That's really good. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So any other questions for Jeff? Or Jeff, do you have anything else you want to share?
Jeff, when you do that, you still put I still do stuff in Berks too, and I know things are crazy. You still put a deadline on when they need to get you their offers, correct? And then you follow after that.
Yeah. We will put out as soon as we get the first written offer. We'll put out. Now again, it depends how many offers, the veracity of the activity on the property, and how many showings are in the pipeline. So we'll try and determine that, and we'll set a competent date. Most times it's not more than 48 hours out. Most times. Every now and then, I'll run a strategy where I'll on purpose underprice a house for terms and conditions sake, and we'll get a lot of showings, and we'll put a 5-day on it out of the box. That's rare, though. That's rare. Most times, once we receive the first offer, we acknowledge that it's going to be 48 hours. Now, many times agents will say, I want an answer in 24. That then is up to the seller. That's not up to me. Then I have to go to the seller, explain the circumstances, and allow them to decide, do I want that offer? Do I want to kick everybody to the curb? How would you like it handled? Because at the end of the day, no matter what I make up, no matter what guidance I give, The seller's the guidance. The seller's the boss.
Yeah, that's something really important to keep in mind. What Jeff was saying is everything is going by what the seller wants. We're not making these decisions for them. So they're understanding what you're doing. They're also the ones that get to make the final decision on where we are and when it's done. So that's really important. Thank you for sharing that, Jeff. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. So if
yeah.
anybody wants,
we have one more. We have a question.
I can send my blog out, and you can read the articles. There's some. I'll tell you, there's some interesting stuff that I've done a lot of research on.
Yeah, if you can send that to Johanna, we'll get it out to everyone. Okay. And Maria has a question. Go ahead, Maria.
Yeah, Jeff, I just wanted to ask. So basically, you don't ever say, "Can everyone bring their best and final offer?" You just say, "I'm sorry, you were not the best and final offer. Did you want to bring a best and final?" Is correct. That what you say? Okay.
That's correct.
And that's it. And do you ever go to your seller and say, "Hey, do you want me to tell other agents what the best offer is right now to see if they'll want to come up above that?" Do you say that, or do you just, how do you handle that?
Well, in the initiation, I try and let the seller know that what their options are. I can divulge and disclose the sale price, terms and conditions. I advise them so much not to go for sale price, but there are times we do discuss terms and conditions. For example, if I know, Maria, if I know you're out there working hard with a client and you sent me a BFI and I have an offer 25,000 over asking, and I've read your BFI and I know your client would struggle in any other way to do this, I'm going to let you know I've got a cash deal here with no inspects.
Okay.
And yours is full of inspections and 7% loan to value. I'm going to let you know that.
Okay.
Just so that holds weight. I don't have to let you know the price then. You can then talk to your client and say, do we have a chance?
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, and another good point is this is not poker. This isn't bluffing. This is you actually have that in your hands. So you have to be really careful. There's a lot of agents out there, right, Jeff, that maybe not as much now, but have reputations for that. Hey, we have like 4 or 5 offers when they really don't have anything. And guess what happens a lot of times? They end up with nothing. And then their client ends up hurt. So just make sure that if you're saying something, it's really the truth and that your seller is fully involved in the decision-making process. So that's awesome. Any other questions for Jeff?
And Maria, by the way, if I've been called on the mat from another agent that says, prove it, that's up to the seller. I will immediately go to the seller and say, would you like me to release a page of this? Now it's redacted, but would you like me to release a page of it? And if they say yes, scan, gone.
Good. You have a question from Michelle Kraft. How do escalation clauses work in your strategy?
Oh, escalation clauses are, oh my God. They're just unbelievable. I just had an agent send an escalation clause, and she created what I call an offer paradox. And boy, I could do a whole hour on escalation clauses, easy. But nonetheless, this is what she did. She had her client go up to $210,000 on a $200,000 house. I had a 2035 offer, but she had a 10,000 seller credit. So her escalation clause was only 1,000 over next best. So her offer was 194.5, even with the escalation. So it created an escalation paradox.
That's funny.
And I told her about it. I said, do you realize what you've done here? And she said, yeah, no, I didn't. And I got to tell you, this is 15 years in the business. And she said, wow, I'll go back to my client. We'll discuss it. And they realized they couldn't get rid of the credit and therefore virtually had no chance at the house. But with escalation clauses, here's some clues that I give. You can bring me an escalation clause. I suggest a couple things. Be very careful about the limit on the escalation, AKA if you know there's a lot of offers out there, people are asking price escalation and escalating 1,000 over. I got to tell you, that's a non-equiter. That is rarely going to work. All you got to do is put a rate on in there, and someone doesn't have a rate on, and they got to put a rate on system in. It's a zero-sum game with more work. So again, what I see now is what I tell people: if you're going to bring a hard escalation, 2,000, 3,000, even 5,000 over, and start with an over again after you've ascertained value for your client and their ability. And this is where the BFIs come in. In Berks County, you guys, obviously I do a lot in Berks County. They still think BFIs are like nuclear waste over here. I mean, you should see the battles I get from this. But I'll tell you a quick story. back 2 years ago when I started using BFIs and Berks, 11% of all the deals in Berks County went from pending to back to active. In other words, failed deals. Lenders are spitting out pre-approval letters like they're printing them off a press and not really doing their job because they're just trying to make their agents happy. So I looked around Montgomery County, their rate of failure was only 3.5%. Chester County, 3.5%. Other areas. And the thing that became consistent with you guys all asked for BFIs. So I was like, oh my God, I'm asking for BFIs. Well, I got pushback from everywhere. So what did I do? I wrote an article on it. I put it out there. The public saw it. And guess what? All these agents around here are starting to finally use BFIs. And it's because when I have multiple offer situations, I need to understand the full dynamic of what I'm dealing with. Mm-hmm. Here's an example, multiple offer situation. Somebody comes to USDA, their lady shows she makes $143,000 a year. I call the lender and say, she doesn't qualify. She's over the $78,000 limit. This ain't gonna work. Oh no, she's self-employed. We can do a write down on it. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. Guess what? 2 weeks later, she couldn't go USDA. So even when you have a BFI, it's not the total answer sometimes, but I'll tell you, it gets you tons closer and really makes you look good in the eyes of your seller. Yeah. When you're doing that. Now, in my listing contract, and this is something for you, Trez, in my listing contract, there's a clause that the seller agrees that unless I get a BFI, I do not have to present the offer to the seller. And this is because our code of ethics says any offer you get, you must present to the seller unless otherwise understood between the parties. When the seller signs that and an agent doesn't bring me a BFI, I can simply say your offer will not be presented in any fashion. And I'm in compliance with 1.7 of the Code of Ethics. So again, these types of things will differentiate you with your clients, so much so than the next agent. You'll be miles ahead. There'll be no way they can't pick you.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that I'm taking away from tonight is right now we have a huge responsibility. You know, this might feel like the heyday. You get a listing. It's like, okay, we're already counting our money in the bank, right? But you have a really big responsibility to your seller that when those offers are coming in, you're really understanding what it is that's in front of you. Because once they accept one and the buyer and the other buyers are gone and move on to something else, there's no getting them back. And if we help them choose the wrong offer because we didn't take the time to understand, like Jeff said, what is the financing? Do they qualify for that? Does the house even fit in that area for the regulations to be part of that program? Is the buyer qualified? Even if you have a BFI and a pre-approval, you still should be able to run the numbers to see what are the ratios looking like. Is this person like even in the realm of possibility of affording the house before you take that offer? So just make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Be a professional. Take the time to really understand the offer, the terms of the offer. You know, which offers are better? Is there home inspections? Are there radon inspections? You know, what else is involved in the whole thing? So think about that. Some of the other things I've seen, Jeff, that is pretty interesting, besides coming in with your escalation clause around $5,000 over the best offer, is putting in a home inspection deductible. So the buyer will do the home inspection, but they won't ask for any repairs unless they go over a certain dollar amount. That's nice. If your buyer really needs to do a home inspection and they feel like they don't want to waive that, you could put that in there to show the seller, look, we're not looking to nickel and dime you. We just really want to have great facts about the property. So just start thinking a little bit outside the box. And if you have questions, you have great resources here at the office. Just reach out and ask anyone. And Jeff, I think we might take you up on putting you on the schedule at some point to talk about escalation clauses. Sure. If they continue to go the way they're going, I really think there's an art to using them, and they need to understand, what that is.
There really is, and I'll add to that. There's a thing called an appraisal capping that you can also use. I'm sorry, that's something else you can use in your circumstance. I'm sorry, hold on. Yeah, the appraisal capping. That means, let's say you have a cash-rich client, but they want to finance. Now, many times they really don't have to finance as much as they want to, but they can afford the house. So let's say they want to make an offer and they want to do 80% loan to value, but they're offering 30,000 over asking, and the other agent can get a little squirrely and say, well, I'm not sure it's going to appraise and all this kind of stuff. And we have a cash deal over here with no appraisal at all. We might take that and we'll lose money, but we don't have to worry about the appraisal. So you can do an appraisal cap to say, hey, we'll cap it at what your asking price is, and if the house doesn't appraise, we'll pay the difference because we have it in cash shown on the BFI. Boom, that's a winner.
Mm-hmm.
That's a winner. Now your people got to know, because most times I can tell you personally, everything's been appraising. Thank goodness. I don't know if you guys are experiencing problems, but I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't seen appraisal problems. I'm very happy about it. So what happens is, in most cases, oh geez,
you're popular.
your folks will get the house, but you have to make sure that the agent you're dealing with understands what an appraisal cap is. I got to tell you, folks, there's some things in this business we actually are going to have to educate the other agent to make your deal stand out.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, sometimes I hear agents, complaining about that. But at the end of the day, we signed on with our clients to get them the best we can. So if that means we need to guide and train and help an agent that's with another company to make it happen, then that's what we need to do. At the end of the day, bless their heart, they should know what they're doing, but they don't. So we're going to help them make sure our seller gets a great offer. So yeah, to always look at it that way. Scott put on here, the last offer he put in, there were 23 offers and 11 had escalation addendums. Holy smokes. This market is crazy. Guys, go out and get listings. I don't even know how to say it any straighter than that. You will have sales. You'll be so happy that you did it. You'll pick up market share. It's just, there's just such an opportunity right now. It's just crazy.
Scott, I had an agent, and he was a Keller Williams agent here locally. And if I'd say his name, you'd all know him. He represented 2 clients on the same house, 2 different clients at the same time. And he put escalation clauses in from both.
Who's his broker? No.
He escalated his client's escalator.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. That's really when you pick up the phone and you call your broker, because that's not good. If you're not sure you should be doing it, you probably shouldn't. So you want to ask some questions. That's an interesting one, Jeff. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for this knowledge. This is a great Tuesday night Zoom session. And this is what I want you guys to know. We're going to be bringing to you on Tuesday nights some really great information on what's going on in the market right now. What is it you need to be dealing with? We're going to be very listing heavy for the next probably couple months. As long as things continue the way they are, we want to make sure you're really sharp on your skills, practicing your listing presentations, talking about objections, getting that CMA right, so you're pricing it right, so you don't have appraisal issues down the road. Some of these tips and tricks that Jeff was sharing with you, so you can make your offers really solid, but also make them so they actually get to the closing table. So there's a lot of things that you can start thinking about. Maria Highland said she took lots of notes. Thank you so much. Megan, this has been awesome. Thank you, Jeff. Mallory, buyers agree to cover the first 5,000 in repairs. So she's asking for some language. I'm going to go ahead and send that over to her on how to word the repair thing I was talking about with the home inspections, adding that deductible in. What else do we have here? Everyone that is just saying thank you so much. So I appreciate it. Guys, before we go, I want you to, in the chat right now, tell me, have you been reading the weekly recap that comes out from Johanna? The last one came out on the 19th, which would have been Sunday. Is that Sunday? Was the Sunday the 19th? What was the 19th? Let's see here.
Sunday was the 19th.
So on Sunday, so every Sunday she's putting out this recap. And it's really awesome. So I'm looking at this Sundays that came out. And the first one was a look at the new office, the first story. The second one was the weekly calendar highlights. The tech event, which hopefully you're all registered for. Even if you can't watch it from 3 to 4:30, register and get the replay. I am telling you, this is going to be really awesome. And it is going to be an hour and a half, very well spent. So if you have to watch the replay, get yourself registered for that. That's also in the weekly recap, and the link is there on Eventbrite to sign up. It is free. Our KW store is open for business. We've already had our first order. Jason Weaver ordered a polo shirt and a 3/4 zip. But there's all kinds of fun stuff in there for you from the store that you can use. You'll be able to order your business cards. We are also putting packages in there for open house signs, riders, all of that stuff. So all of that's in there for you, cups, mugs, umbrellas, all kinds of neat things. And then with the ABA Limerick, if you have any questions with TA, just reach out. The girls are super busy. It is, I mean, we have 150 contracts in this month, 150.
Wow.
If anybody's a little moody, just know why. It's 100,000 degrees outside. They're extremely busy. If you need anything, just please send them an email. If you need me to run downstairs and check in on something, just please ask. I don't mind helping them out. It's going to be a little nutty, so we don't want anything slipping through the cracks. So just be really ready for them. And then we have a new blog, the Keller Williams Realty Group blog, and that was also in the recap. So you can click on the link and go in there. So I want you to do that so we start to get our views on the blog up. That's going to be really important. And then let's see here, special guest. We had that last, you guys, whoever was on for JB, that was really awesome. His coaching is still available. And our moving schedule is listed on here. So how many people on the call got in to see the new office in the last couple days? Yeah, it's really awesome. Every time I go there, I get more excited. It's really great. And just so you know, because I had a few people asking, we are keeping a footprint at the Limerick office. It'll be upstairs where Tom and I's office is now. So it'll be a spot where if you're out running and you need somewhere to pop in and you can't get down to Collegeville, you can go in there. We'll have a copier set up, chairs for you, and it'll be there. Also, the real estate school is going to be there as well. So if you know anybody thinking about taking the real estate classes, you can offer that out there too and work on your downline. So hopefully I got all your questions. I see all the yeses here. Thank you for that. I will let Johanna know. She will be thrilled to death. If you can't find it, go back and check your Sunday emails. Type in weekly recap. It'll pop up. Look for it every Sunday, guys. This is your blueprint for success. This is your office giving back and trying to make sure you're educated. You know what's going on. We promise not to waste your time. So if we put something out there, it is worth your while. Love you all. I'll see you later.
By the way,
Jeff?
Therese,
Good.
if anyone, just for the sake of it, if anyone does have any just general real estate questions, don't ever hesitate to call. I'd be happy to email, answer them, talk on the phone. If anything gets into the weeds, of course, I'll always look to Therese for the answers, and she's the broker. I like to keep her out of jail. So that's about it.
Thank you. I do not look good in orange. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
you.
Dale, give me a call. I'll talk to you about that.
Take
Trez,
care.
Yes.
one quick question.
Good.
Has anybody had any desktop appraisals?
I think we had one on a property about 3 weeks ago, and it went fine.
It went fine. Okay, because I found out my property's going to have one. I just wanted to know how accurate they are.
Yeah, we actually had one over in Skipback. We just got the notice that they actually are waiving, the mortgage company is waiving the appraisal. I think it's a product of the fact that the appraisers are so busy right now.
Right.
There's just no possible way for them all to get done. So that might be something you're finding. If
Okay.
everything looks really good and they're getting the information they need and they can see all the photos, you might see that a little bit.
Okay, I was just curious. They
Yeah,
asked me to get pictures and stuff for them. They said the mortgage company wants it that way, and that's how it's got to be.
Yeah.
So I don't have any say in that.
Well, no, did the value come in?
Not yet, but I just want to make sure that I'm not setting my sellers up for something that may not be as accurate as it could be.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. I've talked to our folks about desktop appraisals. We've had several, and I've talked to the appraisers as well. They're believe it or not, they're given greater latitude on the appraisal because it's a desktop.
Yeah.
In other words, their margin of error plus or minus can be greater. Therefore, that means higher.
Yeah.
That's good. Then I'm fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at it as a bad thing, and you still always have your appeal process. You know, hopefully you don't ever need it, but if you do, we do have that process. You can call and we'll help you through that as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, guys, and if you have any questions about the building or any logistics, or don't let uncertainness, not ask questions if you're not sure. We want to answer your questions. We want you to be happy here. We want to make sure we're meeting all your needs. So ask away. See you later. Have a great night.
Thank you.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.
Good night.